Hello friends, happy Saturday. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to day 11 of NaNoWriMo. Today is Saturday, and yesterday on Friday the 10th, I did not end up working on my project at all. I wanted to, but I had such a busy day after my work. We, went into town, we ran a bunch of errands, we got hay, I had to put all of the hay away. Got groceries, had to put all the groceries away. It was just such a long day that by the time I got settled at like 6:30 last night, all I wanted was dinner and a glass of wine and to not do anything. So that's exactly what I did, which was nothing. But now, today is Saturday, and it has been a beautiful day. It's been a wonderful day. Greg and I planted our fall garlic today, which is very, very exciting. So we got 66 cloves planted today, so we will see how those do come next spring. We cleaned the house a little bit. I'm congested because I was in the hay barn earlier, so you might be able to hear the congestion in my voice. And now it's almost 4 p.m. It's starting to get a little bit cool. The sun is slowly starting to go down, and I think it's going to be a good time to pour myself a hot cup of tea and start working on my project. So today, we are working on chapter 16. Chapter 16 is the midpoint, and it's where a lot of fun stuff starts to happen in my story. My story essentially follows an upward path to the midpoint. So my main character is having a pretty good time. Things are going well for her. We hit the midpoint, and then everything starts to go really poorly for her. And I love it. I love how hard the rest of the book is for her, and I had a great time writing it, and I'm looking forward now to not only finishing the book and adding, that other chapter that I talked about in my previous vlog, but I'm just excited to read it again because it's been a little bit now since I read what I wrote. So let's go pour ourselves a hot cup of tea. And I might put on something more comfortable because I'm still in my jeans. So I might put on some sweatpants just to get comfortable here on the couch. And we're gonna get started on chapter 16. Thank you so much for joining me for another vlog, and let's dive right in. Friends, happy Sunday. It is Sunday the 12th? 12, 13, 14, 16, 17. Yeah, I think today's the 12th. It is almost 11 a.m. and Greg and I just got back from going into town. We went to a little diner and had some breakfast, and now we're home. I did work yesterday on my project last night after I talked with you, and then I actually already worked on it a little bit this morning as well. We got up pretty early this morning. Greg got up and made coffee at like 5. So we were up and around by like 6, 6:30 after we had coffee in bed. And I worked on my project for probably like half an hour, 7 to 7:30. And I got an entire chapter edited. But going back to yesterday, I ended up reviewing and finishing chapters 16 and 17. So I finished reviewing chapters 16 and 17. I would like to go back on my next pass and add a bit more detail to chapter 16, primarily a little bit more like scene setting and, describing the scene a little bit more, building up a few of the side characters in that scene. But it was pretty solid the way, like where it stands. And then chapter 17 is very short. It is less than a page, and it's kind of like just a punchy transition from the midpoint suddenly into this new world that the character finds herself in yet again. So I finished chapter 17. That one didn't really need a whole lot of anything. And then this morning I edited chapter 18, And last night I read ahead in chapter 18, and I was pretty tired last night, so I didn't feel like I was in the right headspace to edit chapter 18 because it needed a lot. But I wanted to read the comment that I left myself. So last night I said, this chapter needs a heavy edit to make the dialogue feel more organic. As of now, the villain feels more like a caricature of a villain. So the problem that I was having in this chapter was that his dialogue sounded so corny and so cheesy, literally like one of those villains who laughs maniacally, and it's so cringy and it just feels so unnatural. That is how the villain felt in this chapter. So this morning what I did was I went through and I revised all of his dialogue and all of his like evil little like smirks and stuff. I was like, no, I can't have this like caricature of a villain. So I made everything a lot more subtle. I smoothed it out. I was a lot more thoughtful about his dialogue. And I really took time to consider like getting into his head and thinking, what does he want and what is he trying to communicate, versus just being like a big evil scary villain guy. Like, I really love villains who are well developed, and that's something that I'm trying to spend more time on. And I talked in my previous vlog about dialogue and how that's a bit hard for me. So there was kind of, you know, twice the work that needed to be done in chapter 18, because I needed to really think about who this character is as the villain or one of the villains, and then think about how he would communicate to the main character in a way that would feel organic and natural for who he is. And I think I did a really good job of cleaning it up. Like, I'm feeling proud of myself and feeling proud of the work I did this morning. So I'm gonna go ahead and delete that little comment that I left myself, because I already fixed that problem. And now we're on to chapter 19. And looking ahead at chapter 19, it's only 2.5 pages, but it is a fun 2.5 pages. So I'm going to work on this today, and I would like to actually expand it as well. On my outline, I put a few more details in about how I could take my main character's fears, her like main fear in this book, and make it bigger in this chapter specifically, and kind of face her with that fear a little bit more. So I want to do that. And you know, if we can finish this chapter today, then starting off tomorrow, we'll be working on chapter 20. So that's where we're at. I think I'm gonna get myself like a tea or something. I'm already coffeeed out for the day, and then we're gonna get started on chapter 19. And yeah, let's just go ahead and dive right in. Welcome back. I think I already said that. Let's get to writing. All right, I am checking back in. It's quite a bit later now. After talking to you, before I got started on writing, I ended up going outside with Greg, and we worked on cleaning up the like horse paddock dry lot area. That took us like an hour, but it's just such a beautiful day. It was nice to be out and to do that and to get it cleaned up a little bit. Came back in, I watched a few AuthorTube vlogs. I've really been enjoying AuthorTube vlogs. Thank you so much to everybody who commented on my previous video and shared your channels. You know, anybody who has been kind of doing NaNoWriMo vlogs, I've really been enjoying watching those. So thank you everybody who did that. I'm sorry if the camera is bouncing a little bit. You are sitting on the couch and I'm really trying not to move. Anyway, I got a lot done actually. I ended up finishing chapter 19, and it needed a little bit of polishing and just kind of like updating and cleaning up a little bit. So I did that, and then I also added one more little, it wasn't like a whole scene, but I added a few paragraphs to this scene to kind of add to that fear that I mentioned, like coming back into play for our main character. So I did that, and I got started on chapter 20, but I've only done the first page of chapter 20 at this point. So we are currently sitting at 55,075 words. So now I need about 4,900 words right now to hit 60,000. And as I'm kind of going through these chapters, I am expanding and adding detail where I can. Granted, that's not the main purpose of this pass. This pass and the purpose of this pass is to get all of the main development done and to get the content in order. You know, it was to move everything around, and that is pretty much all done at this point. And the only like new stuff I have to add is that new chapter that I keep talking about, and then I have to finish the last chapter and actually finish the book. But as I'm kind of going along and expanding on things, hopefully that word count just keeps kind of like creeping up, because I really want to hit 60K so badly. And I'm pretty happy with what I've achieved this weekend. This is starting to go a bit faster now that I am not having to like move a bunch of stuff around. I'm not having to like do surgery on my manuscript at this point. It's pretty much where it needs to be. But now I'm just ensuring that everything is kind of consistent. Like all of my details are consistent. Everything in terms of the timeline is happening when it needs to happen, and it's being referred back to by characters in a way that makes sense and in a way that is, again, consistent. Like continuity is really important, and that is something that I'm focusing on for this pass. So we are still ahead of the game. You might remember that my main goal for Nano this year was to finish this draft, and I am on chapter 20 out of 30 chapters, and it's the 12th. So I am making really good progress, and I hope to get a lot done this week as well. Okay, I had to go and switch my camera battery out. It died right as I was finishing up with you. But like I was saying, I have a little bit of a lighter work week this week, so I am hoping to prioritize my writing a little bit more. And then starting the following week, I have a big copy edit that I'm going to be working on. I'm looking forward to it. It's book 2 in a series that I have been looking forward to for quite a while now. So it should be a really fun copy edit. But yeah, I want to try to get a lot done on my personal project this week because I have a slightly lighter work week, and then week after that, I will be right back to the grind. Is that what you say? Back to, you know, doing my full editing days and then trying to do my writing on top of it. So that's where we're at. I am feeling like I'm in a really good place right now with NaNoWriMo. I have written almost every day. I think there's only been only one day so far that I haven't worked on my project at all. And apart from that, I have been just kind of steadily working through this draft, and it should be done here maybe even by the end of this week. You know, maybe next weekend I'll be telling you that I am done with this draft. We'll see. So I hope Nano is going well for you if you are participating. Thank you to everybody who's been kind of hanging out with me and watching all of these vlogs. I really do appreciate it. I'm gonna wrap it up here and probably go make some lasagna or something. I wanna make a huge batch of frozen burritos so that I can eat those this week and next week. So just gonna do a little bit of kind of prepping for the week ahead. I hope the weekend treated you well. It's been a really beautiful weekend for us here, and I am looking forward to seeing you again here on the channel for another Nano vlog very soon. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.